Hello, everyone.
Do you have the clap?
Starting it off okay. I'm not editing this out either. Welcome to the 5th Gents Conclave. I am Sam.
I'm Blake.
And Robert.
And today, boys, we are gathered to have our 5th podcast. Pretty big deal. This is kind of like bi-weekly almost now, but that's okay.
Big number 5.
So, the big thing I want to talk about is football season. Football season's coming up now. Preseason's done.
It's here. Well, yeah, preseason's here, and a lot of players are gone already.
Yep. Shout out to Tony Romo.
Romo's hurt for 6 to 10 weeks, I think is what it was.
Yeah, pretty much the season.
Kaepernick's got things going on.
That's not an injury, really.
An injury to his performance. Let's be honest, right?
I'd say more of an injury to his ego.
No. I'm not even. I'm taking the political side out of it. I'm just saying that he's not 2013 Kaepernick.
Oh yeah, no, not at all.
He hasn't been 2013 Kaepernick since 2013.
He's actually sitting behind Blaine Gabbert. Blaine Gabbert is going to start over Colin Kaepernick.
That's
wait.
rough one.
Blaine. Oh, sorry. No, I'm completely messing up my quarterbacks. I was thinking like Bortles. I'm like,
he's got a mullet, doesn't
Blake
he?
Bortles is actually decent.
Yeah, I was going to say Bortles is not a bad quarterback.
I was just trying to figure out. I was like, for whatever reason, I was thinking Blake Bortles. I'm like, how did he get from the Jacksonville Jaguars over to?
Well, Blaine Gabbert did come from the Jacksonville Jaguars.
He did. He was
because
behind.
Bortles, right?
No, just because he sucked cock.
Yeah.
And then they ended
He
up
was
drafting Blake Bortles.
I think he was
Gabbert
third
sucked.
string, wasn't he?
Who?
Bortles. Or
No.
was he second?
He was the first overall pick in the draft.
No, I mean like team
No, was he the
roster-wise, depth chart.
No, he was first.
Was he?
He was starting
Ooh.
his rookie year.
Rip.
He was good. Well, he was all right. He was about mediocre with like his QBR, his quarterback rating.
Is that when Jones Drew was still running for them?
No, I think that was the season after he left. Mojo was a beast back then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was.
He's over in the Saints now, right?
I don't even think he's playing anymore.
I think he retired.
I was gonna say,
I'm paying $1,000 in this today.
but there's a lot of stuff going on with the NFL right now. There's some good things, there's some bad things, a lot of intrigue. I don't even like football that much anymore. I'm not as into it as I used to be. Before I would know everything. I would know like everybody's stats, but now it's just I don't know. With the rule changes and everything, a lot of stuff going on with it. It's just kind of dumbed it down for me a little bit, and I'm just not as into it.
There's a lot of
as I once
scandals
was.
and stuff that shouldn't really be scandals. And a lot of focusing on things other than football.
Well, some of it's important to note, though.
Yeah, but I mean, like it dominates like ESPN and everything. It's like let's just leave that out of it because there has to be, at some point, you know, with Facebook and the misinformation there, it's like there has to be some escape from all of that.
Yeah.
And it's just like, can we just focus on the football?
ESPN's gotten to a point now. It's actually, I think it's at its
Unwatchable?
lowest subscriber rate ever.
Yeah, I read that actually somewhere.
There's, you can even see it. There's examples of it. They're doing they have the political stuff on there right now. Like if you go onto the website, it has stuff about like Donald Trump and Hillary and stuff like that. And then it also has things about it's like, oh look what so and so bought with their first contract and stuff like that. It's like, why do we care? We don't fucking care.
Actually, that part, I think that bit where it's like when they get the contract and you look at like, oh, so and so bought his mom a house, or his like the one what was the kid that just bought? Was it his aunt who raised him a van or whatever? It was a big story on the news. I think
It doesn't
he played
matter
for.
though.
No, but that's a feel good story. I'm thinking like that's the kind of stuff that I'm okay with them covering because it's like, look, here's a guy that busted his ass to get in the league, and he's here he is doing something good. It's like that part I'm okay with. If you want to branch away from sports and cover like, it's almost like the Entertainment Tonight of the sports world.
Stupid.
Yeah, well, okay, in your opinion. But I mean, when you look at different kinds of publications, you look at Rolling Stone trying to cover politics and everything. It's like these guys aren't meant for that. They're meant to cover entertainment. You look at Entertainment Tonight, all those shows on at like 6 o'clock. And like I hate that time of night because it's on every freaking channel. You got Inside Edition, Entertainment Tonight, Extra, freaking, and this I don't have cable, so it's every freaking channel is all these stupid reality TVs. Like, oh my gosh, Kim Kardashian. Like, I don't care. I don't think there's a date from when she first had the sex tape to now that they haven't not covered anything Kardashian related.
Are they still covering her?
Absolutely. Like, every time I walk in the room, it's like, look at Kim Kardashian. She posted this new naked photo. And if it's not her, it's her sister. I'm like, I don't give a shit.
They are like A-list right now.
I don't understand why, though.
A-list, top of the line.
And that's what kind of sucks about it. It's like, you look at A-list celebrities these days, what's considered for it, and it's like, why? It's like, now, if your name's Kardashian, or you're related to the family, you're just automatic A-list status. Like, you don't have to be an actor, you don't have to be anything. It's just like, if your name's Kardashian, you're on that list.
That's what happens when you're an A-list celebrity, though. It's like, if you see, like, who George Clooney's dating, they're automatically, like, A-list.
Yeah, but she's actually doing shit. She's a humanitarian lawyer, like,
I'm not talking about right now. I'm just saying an example of, like, just somebody, like, broad. Like, if it was some, like, back when
Sam, please,
Clooney...
they're women. You don't call them broads.
God damn it. We're off subject of what I want to talk about.
I was going to say, what happened to the NFL?
I want to jump
sorry,
back
Dave.
to the sports.
Yeah, sports.
I want to work it over to, like, what your guys' predictions are. Like, I want to know, like, what you guys see, like, in the big game, the Super Bowl. Like, that's what I want to know. Because I know what I've got.
Patriots and somebody.
It's so
that's who
hard
you
to
have?
it's so hard to think
I don't
about
know.
it because there's so many injuries that could potentially ruin a team's season.
Oh, for sure.
That's the point of looking at
We
it,
looked
or
at
that's
it.
the fun of looking at it right now.
You look
I
at the
think-
Packers season a couple years ago.
I was gonna
like,
say-
Aaron Rodgers got like out for what was it, 3-4 weeks, and they just nosedive because they didn't have a good backup.
Well, he was all right.
Well, Tolzien was okay, and then they did like the rodeo with Tolzien and some other guys. I can't remember what the hell their names were, but like it wasn't great. They were good enough to have like to end the season at like 8-8.
Well, the last time the Packers won the Super Bowl, they also had a ton of injuries, and they had guys that they plugged in to replace those guys. So.
And they just hasn't ever been the same. They can't repeat it. I don't understand. Like Raji's constantly out.
Rodgers not that good.
The nose tackle? He was a
I
stud
don't
in
think he's that
2010,
good. I think he's overrated.
which was 6 years ago.
I was gonna say, you think about it, that's 6 years ago. That dude's like 35 now.
Yeah, he's about that age where you start taking him out. It's like they're in need of some linemen soon because a lot of their guys are getting long in the tooth.
Yeah, that's what happens, though. Like, the Steelers are a good example of that. They're kind of starting to switch over. They're starting to get some younger guys in there.
They've got some good young boys up in there.
You guys
Yeah.
got some good ones. The Raiders.
Le'Veon Bell is ridiculous.
I'm liking the look of the Raiders team. I'm pretty
Um,
excited to see him this season.
I'm pretty high on the Raiders myself, actually.
I was a Derek Carr fan last year.
Yeah.
Derek Carr is a good quarterback.
He's that team's going to be up and coming. I don't think they might make the playoffs this year.
I don't
It's
think they're
not
going
gonna
to
be damn
go very
close.
far.
They're-
If they do make it to the playoffs,
I think they'll
they're
get-
not going to go far.
I agree.
Maybe a first round knockoff.
Yeah, but I mean, this is what Derek Carr's second or third season.
I think it's his third season.
Yeah.
But his rookie, I don't think he played start.
Well, his
Yeah, he
rookie-
was.
Was he?
Yeah.
I'm almost positive he
I'm
was.
pretty sure he's been in there since they drafted him
Okay.
because they have no other options.
I was gonna say, I was like, who? I'm trying to think of any other one.
And
I
Derek
can't-
Carr's got good. He's got good talent.
Oh yeah.
He's got good receivers around him. It's a good team.
Mhm.
I don't know, but you look at the rest of that
They
division.
just recently moved somewhere else, or no, I'm thinking about the Rams.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
the
now
Rams.
the LA Rams.
The Raiders are trying to move as well.
Out of Oakland? Why? Come on.
I know.
They were trying to go to
No reason.
Florida, weren't they?
No, they were trying to move to LA.
Oh, they were. going to LA too.
They were actually talking about splitting with the Rams or the Chargers. They were trying to like get a group thing going on there.
Hmm.
But when you look,
the Chargers, I forgot. I'm like saying
Chargers.
California's got like 4 teams.
Yeah, well, they've got 3 now.
Well, San
which
Fran,
is
LA.
stupid. Oh, there is San Francisco, isn't
Yeah,
there?
the 49ers. You just talked about Colin Kaepernick.
It slipped my mind.
So who's so if Kaepernick, if they dice him, who's his backup or who's playing now?
I don't think.
Oh, you just said it was Blaine Gabbert, right?
Blaine Gabbert's the starter. Kaepernick's the number 2, and then I think they've got like 2 guys behind him. Supposedly, I'm hearing words that the Vikings, with Teddy Bridgewater being gone for the season,
Oh yeah.
Rip.
they're looking at Colin Kaepernick. Cleveland could always use a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Freaking Cleveland.
There's teams around the league that would do it, but I assume that they have a pretty high asking for Kaepernick. I don't know why. He's got a big contract, so that's going to be hard to move, and he hasn't started in like 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And even when he did start, he wasn't that great.
Well, I was reading a thing where they're talking about how he had some surgeries in the offseason. He's losing a ton of weight, so like his run game isn't
Not in
as
his hair,
strong.
though.
What's that?
Have you seen his hair lace?
Oh my gosh!
He's got a big old fro on it.
He got a big old afro on him.
I was like,
dude.
how do you fit that? He's gonna have to get a bigger helmet.
I'm not gonna lie, it looks awesome. I'm super jealous.
He looks like Afro Samurai.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
Yeah,
If Afro Samurai was Squidward, because that big old nose of his, dude. He's got a schnoz on him.
Jeez Louise. But yeah, he does have a pretty impressive afro.
Yeah. But I don't know. When you look at the Oakland Raiders division, you've got them, Kansas City Chiefs, Denver Broncos, and the San Diego Chargers. Chiefs aren't bad. I think the Chiefs missed the playoffs last year at 8-8, but a lot of people are like they have a really good roster, but they have a lot of injuries this year.
They lost Jamal last year, didn't they? Towards the end.
I think so.
I'm pretty sure at the end of the year he got hurt. And
He's hurt again right
anything.
now, and two of their starting outside linebackers are hurt as well. Denver, I mean, they just came off the Super Bowl win, but Peyton Manning's not there anymore. Didn't
Osweiler move?
Yeah, Osweiler's in Houston.
That sucks.
That's something I'm going to be talking about later. And then I think they had Mark Sanchez. Mark Sanchez is actually not starting. They're actually going with a second-year quarterback who sat behind Osweiler, their third stringer last year. He's actually starting this year. Then they have Mark Sanchez and Paxton Lynch was their first-round pick this year, and they think that he's just a little too raw right now. He just needs to learn how to play. So they're kind of working with that.
Toss him in the frying pan, man. We'll cook him up real good.
I don't know if I would do that. I mean, he's got a good group of talent around him, so it wouldn't be bad. But at the same time,
it'd be good.
Good practice.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd let him sit.
Mark Sanchez, like every time that guy gets on a team,
career-long second string.
Yeah, and it's like every time it's like it's a curse.
He can't do it. He's not a good quarterback.
No.
He's a mediocre quarterback, and that's why he's been a second string his entire career.
Yeah.
The only time he's first string is when somebody messed themselves up.
Yeah. Well, his first season or two,
or Jets.
yeah, his first season or two in New York wasn't terrible, but then he had like that notorious butt fumble and everything like that, and that's when it really seemed like everything was downhill for him, and he was just on the move out.
Just on a permanent tilt.
Yeah, he was just gone. New York's quarterback situation. They finally resolved that. They got Ryan Fitzpatrick to sign with them, and Geno Smith is their second string.
It's not terrible. Ryan Fitzpatrick's okay.
He's all right. Yeah.
That was a guy I thought would be a career backup, but he made some money for himself. I think they signed him to a 1-year deal.
He started a few teams now, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he was on the Titans recently?
Wasn't. Was it not Houston?
No. Buffalo.
He was Bills.
Yeah. He started for Buffalo, and then he ended up in New York. The Jets. He was actually pretty good for Buffalo.
Yeah, he's all right.
I think, they had someone starting over him for a little while, and then they popped him in. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. It was a few years ago.
The Bills, yeah?
Yeah, Buffalo Bills. EJ Manuel, I think he started one season. I think that was his rookie year.
I thought it was
and then
EJ.
They benched him.
Yeah.
He's buried on the depth chart now. He was a first-round pick. Never.
Yeah, I haven't heard much of him.
I was pretty hyped on that dude. I remember watching him.
He's not bad. He's got a good arm and he can run if he needs to.
Yeah,
I got the opposite of RG3.
I got into a debate with a guy about him. I was like, no, he's going to be really good, and he never panned out.
RG3 got cursed with all the injuries. That's all. That team ruined him.
Part of it's on RG3 though. He doesn't know how to slide properly. For some reason. He's like, I don't know how to slide, and he falls head first and just gets knocked out.
Like, stop it, dude. You hurt yourself.
There's that, and then the front line could not protect him worth anything.
He's actually...
That team and that coach hurt him as well as himself.
Yeah. He's actually starting in Cleveland this season.
I hope the best for the guy, man.
He's a starter, and if... what's his name? He just got off suspension.
Johnny Manziel?
Gordon?
Yeah.
Josh Gordon.
Yeah, Josh Gordon. If Josh Gordon...
The dude that can't stop smoking all the weeds.
Yeah, if he can actually pan...
Oh, was that to do with the gas mask thing or whatnot? Or
no, I think that was the rookie.
I didn't know if that's who you're referring to.
Laramie
No,
Tunsil,
Josh Gordon's got popped for marijuana like 2 or 3 times now.
Yeah.
He got suspended on the Browns, and they were like, "You got to stop, man."
He was suspended.
Manziel was like, "What? That's how you get suspended?"
No, Manziel does crack.
Yeah, oh, that's right.
That dude's in some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he wants out of Cleveland. I mean, ideally, he wants to get on to the Dallas Cowboys, but it's just like, you're too small.
He's a free agent now.
He's
The free agent?
Yep.
I
Nobody.
thought he was stuck in.
No. Manziel's a free agent.
he's made a bad name for himself.
Tell
At
you
this
what,
point.
Dallas should pick him up, man. They need a
No, they
huge
shouldn't.
need.
He's
Bring that boy back to Texas.
he's a trouble case.
The rookie that they have right
Dallas
now,
Cowboys, come on.
dude,
I don't
Dak
think
Prescott. That's who they have starting right now instead
Yes.
of Tony Romo.
Yes.
I watch him in some of the
Kid's pretty
preseason
good.
games. He looks like a stud.
I was gonna say he's pretty good. Pretty good.
So, yeah, I think
I watched him on Dallas versus. Was it the Dolphins 2 weeks ago?
I think
I
so.
haven't watched any games
Some of
for
his stuff is-
preseason. I don't-
Some of the looks he was giving us real good. I'm like, okay, I'll work with that. Plus, he's got something going for him that Tony Romo doesn't have: is a healthy body, intact bones.
Oh, a back. That's Tony Romo. Just
That's
doesn't
true.
have a back.
Tony Romo's a good guy, but
That dude's got
it's
a
just
zigzag
like
for a back.
every single year. It's just like season
Well, it's the back.
opener. It's like, man, look, you're too banged up.
He
They
keeps
need to
rinsing
do-
his back and his neck, and it's
You need
like
to do
you
is just
can't
remove
play
his
with that.
spine and replace
Yeah.
it with a titanium, titanium.
Make him biotic.
Right. For Cyborg.
Yeah.
Cyborg Romo. Cyber Romo.
Cyber Romo.
Let me work on that.
Cyber Romo. Yeah, I don't know if that sounds like you just like sending
Yeah.
him nudes over the internet.
Oh no,
Cyber Romo.
right.
that's gross. All right, what is your guys' Super Bowl prediction? I want who's going to be in it and the winners.
Oh gosh,
You want to start, Rob, or do you want?
man,
I can start if you guys want.
I'm
me
not
to.
like as analytical on the football. I
You
mean,
don't have
I'm
to
a
be
huge.
analytical. You
I'm
can
a
do
huge,
it
like-
as just a fan.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm a huge Packer fan, so I would like to see
I mean,
them make it.
that's a team that can make it.
Let's see. Jordy Nelson's back.
That's true.
So, I mean, they got both sides of the field now.
Jordy's too good.
Jordy's ridiculous. And then, Randall with a healthy Randall Cobb and
That's the hard part. Is
yeah,
Cobb. He's a toss up.
yeah. But I mean, their secondary's awesome. Or I was more on not their secondary. I'm sorry,
Their everything is okay.
yeah. That's what I'm trying to
They're a
think
pretty
of.
well-rounded team.
Just gotta nail Lang's feet down to the ground so he doesn't false start every 5 feet. It's like, dude, come on. It's like gain of 30. It's like, oh, false start. It's like, cool. We'll
But
come
they
back
make
and
up for
rerun that.
pounds. They lose in brain cells.
Yeah. Him and Balaga and whatnot.
Balaga, man. Love Beluga.
Yeah, Beluga. Bacchiardi. Or as I like to refer to him, back 10 yardies. Every freaking snap. I'm like, stop it! Gee, boss!
Back 10 yardies.
That's freaking funny.
Oh, man.
I like that one. Who you got, man?
Yeah, to get back to it. I like Denver. Maybe.
Okay.
And then, who's this going to call me? Go away. And, gosh. I don't know, maybe another repeat of last year.
I think the Panthers.
Oh, yeah. Completely forgot about them. I don't know why, because it was like, that's a good game between them and Denver.
Yeah, it was pretty decent. Well, for the Broncos it was.
Yeah, for the Broncos.
They had a
I like
fucking
Kenyon.
fantastic playoffs, and then they get to the Super Bowl and they just do nothing.
Adult? Oh.
Like I say, we've got some good ones.
Oh, boy.
So what was yours?
I would say I was either thinking repeat, but then you brought up the Panthers, and I mean that's the squad from last year, so they're not dealing with a
Yeah,
new
they haven't
quarterback
changed
situation
much.
like
Their team is
Denver.
young too.
Yeah, I'm gonna swap it. I'm gonna say maybe Panthers and some AFC team. Maybe. I mean, I'm trying to think like who else is in. That's what I'm saying. I'm not analytical. I don't really know who all would be like the Patriots. Like who else is in there?
Then just say the Patriots. Then.
Fine, that's what I'm
Cop
saying.
out.
That's what I keep saying, and you're just
Pussy.
like, boo! You don't know.
You're not even giving us a
name.
name.
That's what
Give
I
us
said.
a
The
name.
Patriots. I said repeat it last year, like Denver and
Patriots didn't play last year. Denver's out of the AFC. It was Denver and
Oh.
Carolina.
dumbass. See, I can't even get my divisions. I'm a mess, man. I just watch football. I don't even pay attention.
Oh, look, they're playing today.
Oh my
I really
gosh.
don't think Denver's gonna make it again.
I don't think
There's no way. Not without Manning. That dude fucking took the reins on that horse.
They need another. They just need a year to rebuild and get the new quarterback.
Unfortunately,
Broken.
rebuilding takes a few years, not just a
I mean,
year.
it's just if you think about it, they still have a studly defense and
Yep.
their offense. I don't really know who other than
It's not
Peyton
bad.
who left. So I mean, you're really just dealing with a new quarterback.
I know, but
said,
that
if I
can,
were-
that can
That's
affect
what I
the
should
entire
totally say.
symmetry of
That
an
was-
offense.
That was his team, man. He could have been.
He took the reins of that horse for sure.
I was gonna say he did so good too. Like when they played the Patriots, I was like, oh my gosh,
She's
this
talking
kid's-
about Osweiler?
Yeah,
Supposedly there was
He's
a falling
mean.
out with the coach.
that's unfortunate.
That sucks. He's great.
I was
He's
gonna say, he would've been-
fantastic talent.
and he moved to.
That dude's
freaking
got an
Houston.
arm on him, man. And he's big. He's big as shit.
6'7".
He's huge.
Are you shitting me?
No,
He's
he's
6'7".
massive.
6'7"?
He's huge.
Oh my gosh.
Dude's
That
got
dude
an
can.
arm on him,
That
too.
good dude can see over everyone. Everyone.
Huh. Yeah, he does have. That's yeah.
He can throw like 70 yards on a dime.
That's insane. Yeah, so Carolina and AFC.
All right. What about you, Blake?
I gotta go with Carolina because their team hasn't changed like at all.
You got them winning it all?
I'm all in. Yeah, I'll do it. Them and Ultimate Champion. The Super Bowl crown. Gold medal.
Yeah, I got them winning it all. There's no way.
No?
There's no opposition to them now that the Manning's gone.
I got a team out of NFC that I think will completely trump them.
It's not the Bears, is it?
No,
Okay.
absolutely.
The Bears. Who are the Bears?
I was gonna make a joke earlier about how like California had 4 football teams and it's a shame because Illinois can't even get one. And
Jesus.
it's a little
That
savage.
is-
I didn't want to open the podcast. With
That
like,
is that's brutal.
yeah, sorry, bro.
Yeah, the Panthers are winning, man.
I apologize, boys.
I like that. Who are they playing against?
There's so many teams that could play against them, though.
Like without a chart of seeing like who's in the AFC and whatnot, because I just don't study it. I have no idea who's in the AFC versus. I know NFC obviously because you got Cowboys, Packers. I'm thinking of like the division, at least for the Packers. You got them, Bears, Lions,
Shit, it's
Vikings.
Oh yeah, the Viking. Yeah, Viking is good. Good. Vikings and Panthers.
That's impossible.
That's
Vikings are
NFC.
NFC as well.
Yeah. See, that's my problem. It's like I like hold up. Let me come back.
All right. Well, I'll go to mine.
Yeah, go to yours because you're the man with the everything.
So, I'm even gonna give you guys a bonus. I'm gonna give you guys who's gonna be the MVP this season as well.
Oh my god.
First time ever in the history of the NFL, we're gonna have a defensive MVP. It's gonna be J.J. Watt.
Not happening.
J.J. Watt's gonna be the MVP this season.
It's not gonna happen.
And
Man, he's pretty studly.
They
And-
don't do as much as offense, though.
And
the Houston Texans are gonna make it to the Super Bowl. They're gonna play against the Arizona Cardinals. But I think the I'll say it. Cardinals are winning the Super Bowl this year. It's going to be 33-31 Cardinals.
so you can tell
Calling
who's
it.
like the football fan around here. Mr. Rain Man of the football team.
I'm calling it right now. Actually, when the 49ers and the Ravens played the Super Bowl, I called the score exactly. I should have went to Vegas that year
You totally should have.
and called it.
I'm going to change my prediction. I'm going to throw in. I'm going to say Browns and Vikings.
Browns and Vikings?
Yeah, Browns and Vikings. With Johnny Manziel being
Why,
the MVP.
why
of
not
the season.
Jacksonville? Jacksonville can get in there, too. At that
Minna-
rate.
Now Jacksonville's actually like could probably do it.
Minnesota had a shot this year, I think, if
Bridgewater didn't die.
Bridgewater was not injured. I think Minnesota definitely had a shot at the playoffs. They probably would have made it in at like a 9-7 record because I think Green Bay will probably end up taking the division.
It's not tough.
I would probably say, even still, I think that Minnesota, 7-9 maybe. I think they'll probably have the same record as the Bears at 7-9. Green Bay, I think I'll get 11 wins.
Okay.
I think it'll go like Green Bay 11 wins, Chicago and Minnesota 7, and then I think the Lions are gonna have like 2. I think Lions.
You really don't think the
I
Lions are
think-
going to win?
I think the
Really?
Lions are gonna be fucking ass this year. They have nothing
Well,
on
Megatron, I
offense.
was going to say, Megatron is retired, yeah?
Yep.
That was his last season?
Completely gone.
Yep.
So Stafford has nobody to throw to. He has nobody to protect him.
He can't throw in general if he's
they're
not throwing.
fucking-
He usually just powers it down the field.
Yeah.
I was
he
gonna say,
just-
Megatron pulls
he
it out
throws
there.
it. He throws it
Yeah.
in the air, and then Megatron runs to the ball.
Yes,
all
it's basically
all he
it.
does is
That's
put
what
it
he did.
within 10 yards of somebody, and they catch it. But now that he can't throw it within 10 yards of people because he's not accurate at all, he can throw the ball really far.
He threw the most interceptions last year, didn't he?
I don't think so. I mean, he was up there, but
He throws a lot.
I forgot Jadeveon Clowney was on the Texans.
That
Yep.
dude doesn't. Yeah,
He was injured all last
the first 2 seasons.
Yeah.
He hasn't done anything.
His first season he was injured. I think last year. I think he played a bit last year.
If he's healthy, I'm excited because he is a manimal.
It would have been exciting if he didn't get hurt every single season.
That's what I'm saying. If he's healthy, he could come out and really do some
I'm hyped on him. I'm super duper hyped.
I'm looking at
on
this
him.
roster.
I think Brock Osweiler is going to be a stud this year too. He's throwing to DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
So I'm super hyped on the Texans.
I was gonna say I'm looking at their roster here and it's looking pretty nice.
I wouldn't be upset if the Texans won the Super Bowl either. That's my AFC team. I have a NFC team that I like and an AFC team that I like, and the Texans are my AFC team.
I have to agree with that because the rest of it I don't really like.
I love them.
They're the most new team in the NFL. Yeah,
Are you kidding me?
they're the youngest team in the NFL. Yeah.
Oh, Vince
I don't
Wilfork
know
moved to
about
the
that.
Texans. That's right. I remember because last year.
That's a nose tackle, boy.
Yeah,
That's a big.
he's a
dude.
big boy. Yeah, he's like 450 or something like
Who,
that.
Wilford?
Yeah,
That dude's
Vince
old
Wil-
as fucking weens too.
he's a big.
When you weigh that much, they ain't nobody can move you.
Hmm.
So it doesn't matter how old you are. You just kind of get lower than they can, and you're just like a boulder, man.
Well, he would squeeze in between people. That was his thing. I don't know how the hell he did it. He was a magician, looking like Flubber out there, just squeezing in between people.
Well, when you get moving down, downfield like that, it's just like.
He would just squeeze in between guards and the snapper, and he would just fucking rinse quarterbacks.
He was big. He was pretty quick for his size too. But yeah, I'm ready for them. Other than that, I mean,
Their first game is against the Bears.
shit.
Yep.
Time to break out a JJ Watt jersey.
I was gonna say, I'd be all about that JJ Watt jersey.
I would say J.J. Watt might get MVP if he breaks like 3 records. Otherwise, he's not going to.
I'm calling
He's
it.
pretty close.
JJ Watt's getting 25 sacks this year. 25.
50.
That's breaking an NFL record.
He better get some touchdowns in there too, otherwise he doesn't stand a chance.
I think he gets.
He picked like 2-3 of them last year, nah?
They put him in tight ends positions.
Oh,
as well.
right.
he grabbed like 3 touchdowns as a tight end.
I was gonna say, I'll say he gets 5 touchdowns this
The
year.
only thing he runs is a post. I mean, that's the only thing he has to run.
Yeah, JJ Watt's like 6'6".
I was gonna say he's also massive, 6'5".
He's fast as shit.
JJ Watt, man.
He's athletic. But
He
think
had 20 sacks in 2014.
Yeah, I'm
That's
calling it.
insane.
25 sacks for JJ Watt.
offensive MVPs, man, they're just dime
I
a
know.
dozen.
Everyone's like quarterback.
It's dime a
quarterback.
quarterback, running back, wide receiver. That's it. That's the MVP choice.
It's
It was like that Monte Teo winning it a couple years ago. That's not the Heisman. That's what I meant.
It's not gonna
I
be.
was saying he was in the Heisman running. I don't think he actually.
It's not gonna be a running back or a wide receiver this year.
Manti Teo, that guy.
I think.
That dude's the guy with a body pillow.
Yeah, he went to the Chargers.
Weeaboo.
Went to Chargers, disappeared.
I guess he's not terrible there. I think he gets injured a little bit. If I know.
You know, it's
I don't know.
He's a
lot.
smaller linebacker.
A lot of times you
Yeah, he
go.
is.
A lot of times you think about like the different teams and whatnot. When they get players, they just kind of fade into obscurity.
That's
Well-
because there's so many players in the NFL.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
There's
and
so
you
many-
don't get a lot of limelight
There's so much
too.
talent in the NFL that it gets drowned out by everybody else doing the same
I'd say
thing that he
teams
does.
too. Yeah.
In the college league, there's like 10 teams, and if you're on those 10 teams, you're probably going to get talked about a lot. Otherwise, not a single word is going to be talked
Yeah,
about you.
you think of like Alabama and Arkansas, Oklahoma, Stanford. I'm trying to think of like all the other ones.
Wisconsin.
But damn near Wisconsin, Duke. Yeah, any of the California teams almost.
Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Definitely Notre Dame.
Yeah. It is what it is. I
Feeder
guess.
schools, boy.
Yeah.
Notre Dame's stadium is massive.
Never seen it.
It's huge.
I
Huge.
don't know if I've been to a college stadium. Well, I drove by Baylor, and I saw Texas of Austin's as well.
You never visited NIU?
I didn't either, actually.
You got a decent stadium.
There's like UNT's not that far away.
And then Northwestern in Chicago, they've got a pretty nice stadium for being in the middle of a city.
UNT Stadium's pretty nice. And then, of course, TCU's downtown.
Yeah. I think
You've had to have been by TCU's.
okay, so have
you ever
I
gone
might
down
have.
like Hewlin over by Vickery and whatnot?
Yeah, I've driven around.
I
down
say
there.
you've probably been by it. There's like a big old flyover bridge on.
Yeah.
Is that Hewlin Street? Yeah, Hewlin Street as you're crossing over Vickery. And you go over like a rail yard, and you can see the stadium and the lights in the distance.
I've probably seen it then.
It's a big stadium. Of course, shit, man. The high school stadium's down here too.
Yeah,
It's
there's
Texas.
Ridiculous.
Well, I mean, a lot of talent comes out of
Texas
the
is a
southern
football
states.
state.
Oh yeah, for sure. I can't remember who I was talking to.
You
They
can
said something
practice
about-
football all year round.
Yeah,
So
I try to practice it in the winter because it's not so freaking hot.
it's not hot down here at all, man. It'll maybe snow like fucking once a winter,
When was the
maybe.
last time you were outside?
I said during the winter.
Oh! I thought you meant like during the. You didn't preface that very well. I'm sorry, my bad. Misunderstood.
Like you could just practice all year round in the winter. Maybe
Yeah,
snow
there's, like,
once a year.
One weekend of ice, and then it's like after that it goes back to the 60s. Nice.
You
Yeah.
can just run around.
Shorts. If you know you're not from here, because everybody from here is like, oh my gosh, 50 degrees.
Break out the
Gotta
park.
break out my
Yeah,
my parkas.
they get out their shovels and shovel all the ice. Crazy people. None of them know how to
Gotta
drive.
grab my mittens.
I still have an ice scraper in my car, just in case.
Oh,
I
I
was
do
gonna
too.
say, I mean, you might as well. There's
You-
no reason not to. It
That's
take-
just
takes up
fundamental
no space.
physics. I mean, it doesn't matter
It's
if
the
there's
same
ice
thing
on
why
the
you
ground.
carry like an emergency like pack in the back of your
jumper
trunk.
cables.
Yeah.
You do not leave the home without jumper
You
cables.
got
in your
cones just in case you break down on a highway or some shit.
Car. Cones is more of a I'd say a luxury item. I mean, you look at your different ones, jumper cables. Most of your kits are going to have
usually
cones.
they come all in the kit.
Yeah, depending on if you bought a kit or if you put one together. Like I got a crate in the back of my car that I put kind of some different fluids in, oil, antifreeze, brake
Stuff like
fluid.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, a couple funnels to fill it in. I got some jumper cables. I got all
I
kinds.
think
of
I've got a
stuff.
mason jar in mine so that I can, because my oil's a mixture, so I
Really?
have to mix it and then fucking put
I
it
feel
in.
like a damn chemist who used to be like, "Whoo boy."
Then, like a cop pulls up to you on the side of the road, and you're sitting there. You're
Yeah,
like,
you're just like,
I got my mason jar with my liquid.
He's like, "What are you doing?" It's like it's a good. He's like
Making the road meth.
road meth. It's like, had to get my fix, man.
Gotta get that road crystal.
road crystal. It's a good thing oil's like black.
But yeah, I don't know. The NFL.
Yeah.
Too many teams.
I mean, I don't know. I like that there's that many teams and that they have the ability to play a ton of different games during the week, and it helps kind of distract.
I think the season's too long, and there's the preseason
I agree with
useless.
that.
Nah,
Preseason
I like
should
the
be
16
gone.
week.
Preseason should be gone, and
Maybe
the
not
season
as
should be
many.
shorter.
See, preseason. I don't know.
Preseason's bad.
It's
I-
4
that's-
games
I think
that
if they
just
had-
people get hurt.
Look, we've
Like,
had all these injuries.
The idea behind the preseason though is to get your guys out there and kind of try to break them in a little bit and see what they
No,
got.
it's not. It's so that the NFL can get money. That's the only reason preseason exists. Is that they get preseason. They get 4 more games of money. That's it.
That's
Otherwise than that, there's nothing else for it.
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at it, it's like you don't have to go to a preseason game. I think.
But people do. It doesn't matter
So would
if
you just run
you have
scrimmages
to
then?
or not. They
Huh?
make
Would
money.
you just run scrimmages then?
No, you just fucking start the season.
I would do.
So what about roster sizes?
I would
people
do-
getting drafted and whatnot?
I would do 2 preseason games. I would drop it down to 2.
Mm.
That's all you'd really need.
I'd run a week of them.
Well, you have all of the summer
Mhm.
I was
and
gonna say,
spring and stuff like
do
that. They're
preseason,
doing
like-
doing all kinds of workouts.
Be like baseball where they do just like the summer camp and whatnot, where they go on to
Yeah,
different.
you really don't need all of this. And they're games that don't matter. They don't matter to the standings, and you have all these starters getting hurt and stuff like
That's
that.
just
You
bad
get-
coaching, I think, in my mind. 'Cause,
It
like,
is
you
not
look at-
bad
It's not
coaching.
though. You get a 300-pound person tackling a 200-pound
But you're
person.
talking
They're
about
going to get hurt.
starters. Yeah, no, you're right. But I mean, it's just like so. To your guys' point, you put in, you get all these starters that are getting hurt. Why are you putting your starters in there? You've got a roster of like 100 and something people. You're trying to break them in and see who's going to make the cut and who's going to get shit canned, right?
They do it so that way they can kind of get like a warm up for the season. They do that a little bit. It's live game play, which
Like televised, yeah.
you can't simulate an actual game in practice. It's not possible. So
Sure.
it's 100% true.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. I'm agreeing with you.
That's why they have the starters out there
Mm-hmm.
in the preseason. They play like a couple series. I think the third preseason game is when they have the starters go in for like a half, and then the fourth one I think they sit out the entire game. They just have the backups play.
See, I think it's kind of silly because I understand you're trying to dust off the cobwebs or whatever, but that's kind of where you go into practice and you try to run the scrimmages and maybe
But it's
even
not
just
the
with
same.
I understand that, but you're talking about taking a roster of 100 and something people and narrowing it down to what 54, depending on your salary cap. Or is there a number? Is it 54?
54.
Okay.
And then they have practice squads.
Right. And then you have all these people that get just kind of jettisoned down into free agency. It's like, so you've got, it's so big, and then everybody's trying to get into it. It's like you need these games to weed out your teams in order to go back.
Yeah, but you can weed them out in the practice and stuff like that. You already know pretty much who your bona fide starters are.
But you just said you can't simulate.
I know, but the starters...
You can tell who's going to start and who's not going to start.
Okay, yeah. So
well, you can tell your starters, sure. But what about you? Do you just... Okay, so how about this? What if you... No, you're going to say no anyway. I was just going to say, what if you were to run like preseason games and you didn't have starters? It was just rookies. You would field rookie squads.
I mean, from the NFL's perspective, they wouldn't really want to do that, though. Nobody would want to watch
your
those
backups
games.
are getting hurt in case your starters... I don't know. I think the preseason games are bad. So, like I was saying, you get actual on-game time. That's why they put the starters in there, so they can kind of get them warmed up for the regular season.
Sure.
You know who your starters are going to be, okay? For the most part, you know who your starters are. There's a couple, interchangeable. It's like, well, this guy was doing so-and-so in practice, and there's a kind of position battle going on. You figure that out. The guys, like the second, the third string, the practice squad guys, they're all kind of fighting it out. I mean, they're not going to really see field time anyways unless there's an injury. So, like, if in the regular season you have an injury, for the most part, you're going in with the plan that your first-string guys are going to be playing the entire season.
Okay.
So, I mean, the second-string guys really don't need that much game time because if everything goes well, they're not going to play at all. Yeah. If everything goes well, they're not going to play at all.
I just think there's such a high turnaround and a lot of coaching staff and whatnot. They want to just make sure that the players are worth the money. So, that's my opinion.
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't. I think that
you don't
it needs
need
to be
4
shortened.
weeks of it, though.
Yeah, I don't think you need that.
It's just like, okay, so the starters only play for 3 out of the 4 games, and the third one barely. But even still, you those starters are the money, and that's what why people watch the team. If they get hurt, it's gone. It's done. There's no reason, and they get hurt for nothing. It's not a stat on the season.
Sure.
It's not a win or a loss. It's literally for nothing.
Well, then I would, my question to that would be is why would you even field them in the preseason game?
It's because they just
like
they
I
need
just
to,
said, because you have to dust off the cobwebs.
And if you're
they
running
do
different
practice.
plays and there are different calls or something like that, like you have to get the calls down. Got to get the playbook down. Got to have your play runners and stuff like that. You're just running it through the motion of how they want to go through a game is good. They have to run the starters for at least a little bit.
For a little bit, sure. And I get that.
And they do. They take them out. After the second half of most of the games, they take them out. They get their practice and they're done.
I can see a reason for having
and then
preseason.
they barely play the third and fourth. So why even have the third and fourth?
I'm not saying get rid of it completely. It needs to get shortened. And the regular season,
17 games is a little long.
It's 16 games. There's 17 weeks. I don't know. It used to be 14. I think it was 14 games. Because that was the big thing with like the 72 Dolphins that went undefeated. The only team to ever go undefeated. They won 2 less games than like when the Patriots were going for it. The whole shebang-a-bang. The 72 Dolphins were 16-0, and the Patriots were going for 18-0. I mean, that didn't turn out that way.
They lost against a really trash team, didn't they?
They lost to the Giants. That was when the Giants' defense was fucking studly.
Justin Tuck and all that.
Yeah, Justin Tuck, O.C. Umenyiora, Michael Strahan.
Yep.
It was a beast team.
Yeah, O.C. was real good back in the day.
Yeah. And I don't know. I don't...
JVV?
It's a money thing. It really is. It's a money thing. That's why the NFL does that. They say that they care about injuries, but the only reason why they're making it look like they care about injuries is so that way they don't have to pay more money.
Yeah.
That's it. Just cost. That's all it is. I don't know. There's a lot of things that I dislike about the NFL, if you couldn't tell. I could do this entire podcast about how much I fucking hate the NFL and how much I hate Roger Goodell if you really wanted me to.
Yeah.
Roger Goodell is a prick.
He's a piece of shit. Roger Goodell, I hope to God that somehow you hear this. You're a piece of shit.
I don't think so. There's no way.
Weed.
I don't think he'd probably even care. He'd just be like, yeah, I'll just add this to the pile of podcasts by some unnamed losers in the middle of nowhere that think I'm a piece of shit. It's like we're probably one in hundreds of thousands of people that think that, even fans. And I mean, I don't have an opinion one way or the other. I know there's a lot of stuff he does. It's kind of like what, and then
Shady as fuck.
yeah, no, really. I mean, there's some things, and it's just like, why is this even a thing?
They're a mafia, man.
Roger Goodell's a piece of shit.
I'll give you that. It's just the code of conduct. It's so I guess what's the word I'm looking for? It's irregular, not irregular, but it seems to change.
Yeah.
Depending on
Whatever
who it
benefit,
is, depending on
whatever benefits them in the long
right.
run.
No, absolutely. And they were talking about how, like, the big meme that's going around now is, after the Kaepernick stand thing, or the not stand, that is, Dallas wanted to put stickers on their helmets for the slain officers.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, can't do that. It's like, why not? Why is one form of expression, that's a better way to put it, expression. Why is one form of expression okay, but countless examples are not? And that was the big thing with Tim Tebow. And it was a thing, you know what I mean? And everybody made such a huge deal about it. Well, looking back on it, it's kind of silly. You know what I mean? Now that we think of all the different things, and the LA Rams, at the time they were
Doesn't matter. You can call them LA Rams.
LA Rams, coming out with the hands up and everything. And it's like, okay, but so different things are lauded as okay, and some are not. And that's why I'm just like, I understand players, they're making money, and somebody had commented somewhere, it's like, well, if it was Kaepernick the grocer, we wouldn't care. And I'm like, that's true. You've got a point. But the difference being is that, a lot of these people and figures that come out, they just say stuff like the ice bucket challenge. Oh, so good freaking deal. You dumped a bucket of ice on your head. Now what?
Nobody donated.
Nobody donated the money. And it's like, why would you
well,
even...
that's not true.
Okay.
There's actually
the
something that came
majority.
out about it. There was... the money that they did raise from the Ice Bucket Challenge has actually found some stuff for, I think it's LMS? I don't remember. But I remember reading about it like a month ago. That some of the money that they raised actually did help find out something towards the cure for that. So it did actually work out. But to your point, yeah, a lot of people were just dumping the buckets of ice, myself included. I dumped a bucket of ice on my head. I didn't donate a fucking thing.
Same. I was gonna say like ALS.
ALS.
You wanted me to do that too, and I didn't fucking do that.
I did it because it was like, Texas, it's hot.
Wasn't gonna have it.
This dick over here was like,
I wasn't happy.
Hey, challenge Rob, so I did it.
I was
good man.
Yeah, boy.
I
don't think I challenged anybody.
Rob and me and you had one other person, didn't you? That you took
Dave.
Dave.
It was Dave, Rob, and me. Yeah.
I don't know. Everybody was doing it. It was kind of a thing. I mean, a lot of different places did donate. I remember seeing Rooster Teeth did one where they jumped in the garbage cans and went out of the ice, and then they donated, just like a large chunk of some.
I thought it was just Michael.
No, it was Michael, Ray, and Gavin. I'm pretty sure.
No, it was Kerry Shawcross.
He was the third.
Yes.
It was definitely Ray, and because I remember Michael just like went down like he was holding the light or whatever. That's a joke. It's fine. Anyway, but to my point is that a lot of people do a lot of posting. Like Coney 2012. That was a huge thing. Yep. It's like, oh my gosh, stop this right now. And like all these stars, bring back our girls, this and that. I'm like, what are you actually doing for the cause?
Nothing.
I don't care that you're saying it because you're right. You do have an amendment, the first, in the Bill of Rights that says you have the freedom of speech and protest and assembly, blah, 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 blah. That's okay. But what are you going to do to change that? And then he wore the socks with the pigs on them. And his lame-ass excuse was, this is calling out some of the police officers. And I'm like, by doing a generalization, what if I wore some socks of a black man portrayed as a thug with a Glock in one hand and a watermelon in the other? And I said, well, this is only portraying some black people as thugs, not all of them.
Yeah.
Trigger warning, by the way, for all of you special snowflakes out there.
It is.
Shout out to you.
It is a double standard.
But that's the thing, is it's like, everybody's like, oh, look at him, he's so brave. It's like, okay, but what is he doing? Now if Russell Wilson came out and said that, I'd be like, dude's doing a shit ton of stuff. He's always at Seattle Children's Hospital. He's constantly doing things for charity. You think of Tillman, Peanut, huge guy giving back to the community. The running back for Houston, I'm blanking.
Arian
Foster. Every Christmas took tons of kids, bought all of them toys for Christmas, the poor and impoverished children. And I'm like, look at that. These are guys making a difference.
Larry Fitzgerald does a lot of stuff.
Larry Fitzgerald, yeah.
That dude's huge in the community.
Right, but that's what I'm saying is, like, if these guys came out and said, hey, I'm tired of the systematic racism, I'd be like, you're right. And these guys are making a difference in their communities and working for a betterment to society. Now, when punks like Kaepernick come out and say that, it's just like, so what are you going to do about it?
Yeah, but he embodies the, I would say, the image. So
the image.
The image. So when you think about
Let's get into it.
When you think about the people that are being gunned down by the police officers, you're not thinking about like the businessman. You're thinking about it's thugs that are getting gunned down.
Okay.
And to your point, like you were saying, how you consider Colin Kaepernick a thug. I mean,
I said punk.
Punk. He's starting to get into a stereotypical thing. I've even seen it on Reddit. One of my favorite subreddits is called Black People Twitter, and there was a hashtag going around, like Colin Kaepernick is like the epitome of like a black person or something. I forgot. Obviously, it's not that. It's a lot more catchy than that. But they were like doing things like Colin Kaepernick, the type of dude. So only watch
the type of dude.
It's probably not dude, I'm assuming.
It's
like the Drake meme. Only
it's
you're just
not dude.
Yeah,
like Drake, the type of person.
He's the type of dude to watch. What the fuck was that Will Smith show from back?
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Fresh Prince of
That's a good
Bel-Air
show right there.
With I guess there was like some auntie that was like especially like what would be categorized and stereotypical of black. He's like, he would only watch those episodes because that's like the blackest thing to do. I'll look one up.
Go
I'm almost positive that they have it, but I don't. He like symbolizes what the movement, like the Black Lives Matter movement is.
But isn't that kind of counterintuitive to what the movement is for? Is like, you see...
In a lot of ways, yes, but that's not how people
look at it. There's a lot of issues
it doesn't
with
matter.
The whole movement thing. I mean, there's a lot of problems with it in general.
Sure.
I'd rather have him not stand up for an anthem than go out there and, like, flip over a cop car.
But that's not what he said. He said for the impression of minorities. He didn't specifically call out, and that's what really annoys me the most is people are all like, well, because we're inherently racist. So to your point, I would argue that it's not about the people who are the stereotypical black guy. It's, in every time they talk about it, they being Black Lives Matter activists, politicians, whoever, they don't group all of them. It's just the progression of wokeness.
Yeah, hashtag Cap So Black.
Wow.
I love his fro, man. He looked good.
It's a good fro.
Yeah.
That's what I make all my characters on like NBA 2K. I give them Stefan got a beast ass fro on him, man.
Stefan.
Jeez Louise. But what I'm saying is that you talk about it's that persona that gets shot by police. It's the guy that gets gunned down. But okay, if that's the case, then it shouldn't matter what the persona is. It should matter, period. Because you always hear people talking about, well, I'm worried about what my son will think about if he's black. They always interview families. NPR, all the major news outlets talk about. They get people from Garland, people from communities that aren't Compton, East Side or South Side of Chicago, places like that. They pull them from different areas of the neighborhood or different neighborhoods where you wouldn't consider them being, say, rundown or the hotbed of, I don't want to say criminal activity because then people freaking flip out, but you know what I mean, the problem areas. That's kind of the
problem area. You could just say criminal activity.
The stereotypical criminal areas.
I was going to say
the stereotypical ones. And they're like, well, I'm worried about my son and what he looks like. And it's like, so there's two sides of the same coin, and where they're saying, I'm worried about just being black in general. And then when you come out and you say, okay, why aren't you more like Larry Fitzgerald? Why aren't you more like Russell Wilson? Why aren't you more like Peanut? Why are you more like these other people? Because I would argue that Charles Tillman,
Well, that's
you know,
good
if he wore street clothes, guy's got dreads, and, you know, he's got scars on his face and whatnot, you could make the argument, especially to some dumb Southerners, that in the right light, dude would look like a thug, right?
He would.
Yeah.
And he
So
could get targeted.
why don't we post these people up? And I understand there's an award in the NFL for that, but we never really talk about that more on Facebook than other than people who follow the Chicago Bears. They're like, congratulations to, you know, Tillman for getting the award.
I just butchered his name, but he does a lot of stuff too. Israel Adonijah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's a good guy.
But there's so many people in there,
he
and
won that
what's
award
stupid is we're like, well, those guys, you know, they don't count because they're not black enough. It's like, so what's black enough? You guys have destroyed your own argument by arguing that there's a level of blackness that you have to be in order to be a part of some movement. Mm-hmm. And you see that a lot with people who call them Uncle Toms, people who call them, there's another name for it, but I can't remember it right now off the top of my head. But you think about, you know, the political pundits and whatnot who are on the other side of the aisle. And they're like, well, you don't count. Well, why not? Black Lives Matter. It doesn't say, well, you know, Black Lives Matter, but more than some.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a lot of fallacies with a lot of like social justice movements. It's just how it is. It's very hard to find a movement that doesn't have a hypocrisy in it to an extent at some point.
Well, that's just human nature.
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
absolutely right. Is that there is a
just
pure form and a corrupt form.
Usually, when you call them on it, they'll.
Well, that's when you get labeled a bigot and shut down,
yeah.
and your account deleted on Twitter and Facebook.
Yep.
And, you know, stifled by the SJW police, which run every single facet of media out there, Twitter included.
At the moment, yeah.
And they're taking over YouTube as well.
Social
Yeah.
network.
Have you seen the new...
it's disgusting.
Yeah, I'm like, are you kidding me?
The YouTube thing is pretty gross.
I'm like, if you don't like it, why are you watching these? Just get out. It's like going to a porn site and being like, all these naked women offend me. I'm like, then why are you here?
Yeah. Yep. Every YouTube comment section, you'll go in there. It's like, oh my god, this video sucks so much. I
don't think there's a single YouTuber that actually likes watching YouTube by the comment section.
It's so fucking
would you even
stupid.
read the
It's like,
comment section?
why would you even click on this
interesting.
video?
No. Yeah.
Some of it is actually kind of.
You know,
interesting.
when I'm watching a YouTube video that I hate, I just exit out of it. I'm just like, you know what?
Me too.
I give him a
so much
dislike.
promise.
I give him a dislike before I leave.
Yeah, okay, give him a dislike, but don't go down there and be like, yo, you are the worst.
Professor Loki.
Just like- Oh my gosh. Blake the type
I'm
of
a
guy to
link-
go in and just like dislike going to
I do.
Loki's-
I do. I see he has a new video. I go in, dislike it, leave.
Oh my gosh.
Still got that view though.
Oh man.
He doesn't have watch time. It doesn't matter if he has views or not.
Oh my god.
He has 2 seconds of my watch time. Here, have the quarter of a penny you got from me.
Blake's just like, I'm gonna go in there and just dislike it just to show you.
He's something else, man.
That's pretty funny. YouTube's getting to be a pretty bad place. YouTube used to be the Wild West, man. You used to.
It did, yeah.
When YouTube first came out, you would go there and you would find like that's where you would go. Like if some dude got beheaded, in, like,
Yeah,
the middle
oh,
of it,
yes.
You know?
you would go to
Yes.
YouTube and you would look that up.
You can't do it anymore, no.
No,
And those kind of
not anymore.
aspects, I like the new YouTube because I don't think people should be able to look those up.
Well, it's propagating like what
If you want
you're
to
doing
look them
the
up,
work
go
for
into
them.
some other way.
I think to an extent.
You can
I
find it
think
if
there
you look
needs to
hard
be
enough.
like a medium of like decency on YouTube.
Yeah,
But who defines it? That's the problem.
Well, I mean, there's everyone defines it. You don't go to YouTube and you're like, I think I'm going to go look up beheadings today because
Yeah.
it's a fun topic.
So,
to
but
look
to
into.
your point, your level.
And it's not like if they did have more videos like that, your recommended page would be fucking horrible.
Can you
That's
imagine
another
opening it
thing.
up
And
and just
that
be like,
would be
oh my
absolutely
gosh.
miserable for everyone else.
Yeah.
And because it would be on your recommended, you would click on it, watch it, it would get more view time, and then it would be popping up on other people's recommended.
that's true.
Mm-hmm.
And it can't spread like that.
It's an algorithm.
Yeah, it would be bad. That's why you see like a bunch of stupid channels now that are like just advertisements. Like literally, there's YouTube channels of just advertisements. The dude with the books and the Lamborghini or whatever his name is.
Oh, yeah, I remember
knowledge,
seeing
things like
and
that.
stuff like
Yeah.
that. I
He's
worked hard. I don't have a Lamborghini.
Yeah,
Like,
I have
whatever, man.
$300 million, and you can have it too. And it's like, no, you're in a rented mansion.
Yeah.
You can literally rent the places he takes his videos in for like $300 a night. and he gets fucking millions of views. Millions of views.
His ad revenue must be insane. From all these
His whole entire video's an ad.
Right.
He's like, buy my books.
No, but that's the thing, is it's just like, I agree with you, is that, you would rely on human, I guess, decency. To define a line between good or acceptable versus non-acceptable. But the difference being is that your idea, my idea, Sam's idea, we might align fairly close because we're
I was going to say, you could take the
same
cumulative of a group and have
Sure.
some different tweaks and twerks to different things. But even still,
But not
I'd
the
say
same.
4 out of 4 to 5 would not want to see beheading.
But see, here's... Okay, I agree with you. But not this day. Today, you live in a world where the very, very, very slim majority of people can complain and change entire swaths of policy across everything. Media, daily life, everything. Because of their poor emotional status, which, fine, whatever. But here's the problem, is, you look at, great examples of the director of Mozilla. Last year, 2 years ago, he gave money to an organization that was litigious for, I think, traditional marriage, like a couple years before he took over from Mozilla, right?
Traditional marriage, you mean arranged marriage, right?
No, traditional meaning,
Just
in
like
the sense of the
normal.
word, between men and women.
Okay.
As defined. So he gave the money to this organization, right? And a few years later, it triggered somebody, and they fired his ass. And it's like, okay, hang on. So this guy is not allowed to have...
I don't know how this comes back to YouTube.
Because what I'm saying is everyone in that office probably donates to 1,001 different causes that you may or may not agree with, right? What would you do? You just move on, right? Because you don't give a shit. You're like, whatever. This is America. That's what makes America great. Well, that's what I'm saying. And Sam, you'd probably do the same too, right?
I wouldn't consider myself a justice or a social justice warrior. No,
I'm the
exactly.
biggest.
So how many it's one person or maybe one little group of people found that out. It wasn't even related to the job, and he still got canned for it. This is the world you live in, and that's what I'm saying is when you're saying, well, it's just basic human decency. Sure, that's what you think. But we're now getting into places where colleges need safe spaces, and we can't teach. There's no flow of information because you've got all these special people in the classroom. It's like, oh my gosh, differing views, and it's crippling to them.
Yep.
And it's like, look, I sit in class, and being of religious persuasion, every history class, everything, it always comes down to Cosmos, the show with Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah.
The
that's
first
a good show.
episode,
I think it's on Netflix.
It is.
It's a very good
I couldn't
show.
get past the first episode, and here's why.
He's not entertaining.
It started it. No, he's really not. But I mean, it started it, and like the entire first episode was basically just about how bad religion was. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
pretty much.
I'm like, look, I can look up this objectively, and it's like, okay, it's interesting. They talk about the theory.
Tyson was like, it's like
Tyson's like, oh,
the Big Bang
Catholics
Theory
and
happened,
this
and
that.
Catholics think this, they're wrong. It happened like this.
Yeah, and I'm like,
it's
okay, whoa, hang on, and it's like, to me, because I'm of a religious persuasion, I have to get over that. I can't complain, because if I do, people are like, well, you're against gay marriage, and you're a bigot, and this, and I'm like, look, that's not even the point. It's like, I, as one group that's not protected, have to go through life, and, you've got atheists that are militant. How many secular talk? Young Turks, Amazing Atheist, Bill Nye.
Amazing Atheist is I don't know.
Is pretty crazy.
Amazing Atheist.
He's not even a real science guy, so... He ain't.
He is the real science guy.
He is not the real science guy. He's a
okay,
mechanical
he's
engineer.
the science guy. He's not the real
Because they gave him
guy.
a show. That'd be just like saying that Kim Kardashian is a celebrity because she has her own show.
She's a celebrity because she is a celebrity. She's a celebrity already.
Because we
which makes
labeled her a celebrity. That's what I'm saying.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So if I declare myself king and I get enough people to say that I'm the king, am I the king?
You're a king to them.
Correct.
Yeah.
To them. But
It doesn't matter.
trying to pass this label
You're a
off
king
to the
in a
vast
view.
majority...
In someone's view, you're a king.
I don't think you're taking this as... Okay.
It ends up when a majority of people, like, it gets to a certain tipping point. Once you get to a certain tipping point, when a majority views you as something, that's what
Sure.
you are.
Absolutely.
That's what everyone considers
You couldn't be born in royalty. No, you're not a legitimate king, but you're a king to the group of people that call you a king.
If 95% of you...
Right, but like you said, you're not a king except to those people. So we were conditioned to think that Bill Nye is a scientist, when really he's not. He's an engineer.
I mean, he had a pretty cool show.
Sure. And that's just my point.
He did scientific.
Leave the science to the scientists.
I mean, he made an entertaining show. That's all it was on the
Okay.
TV. It was good.
Sure.
He is the science guy. Bill Nye, the science guy.
I enjoy some Bill Nye. He's actually got
He's an entertaining individual.
He's got some good stuff popping up here and there. He's actually a big advocate for trying to go ahead and like the advancement of science.
I disagree with that.
But,
let me rephrase that. If you are a subscriber to the Church of Global Warming, he's okay with that, advancing science.
Church
Yeah.
of Global Warming.
That's exactly what it is these days.
to an extent, yeah, it is.
To an extent, no. Let me. Okay, hold on.
On both sides. Both sides are crap, honestly. Have you looked at the data for both sides? Both sides have some pretty shit data.
There are many people who are way better at writing things about it, and I will give you some names after the end of the podcast to look into it, who have done more research than myself. But you are right. And what I was saying is that Bill Nye and the advancement of science, as it were, there is such a movement now to stifle the other side of the global warming debate. In fact, Exxon, the company, was they were hardcore into global warming, and they actually they spent some ungodly amount of money, couple tens of million, $14, $20 million for research to look into it and say, well, maybe it's not as bad, or maybe they found evidence to the contrary of some of the stuff that they were trying to preach. And there's like 8 district attorneys from the state of New York who actually took them to court, and they're trying to nail them and like silence them from that research because they're trying to pin them with the charges are just stupid. There's something that doesn't even have to do with it. But because they're starting to say, wait a minute, we're starting to fund... That's science, is you look at both sides of the argument, right? But because they're trying to look at the second side of the argument, and it's going against this narrative that's trying to be pushed, they're like, we can't have this. You must be silenced. We're going to take you to court. And they're actually losing.
It's on both
not
sides.
Exxon.
Both sides do this.
I would say that the majority of the silence tactic would be on the side pro-global warming. In fact, I don't know of any that is anti-global warming that's trying to silence the other side.
It might be
in court
small
cases.
Scale. I'm just saying,
cases.
you're acting like it doesn't happen on both sides.
No, I not once did I say that. I said that to the narrative, to get back to my point, my ultimate point that I'm trying to say, it's to the Bill Nye and the advancement of science, is there was an interview where they were talking about how differing views would you be willing to jail them, and he was very dodgy on the question. He didn't come out and say no, and he was saying, well, we'll see where it goes. What does that mean? So what you're saying is you will go so far as to stifle the other opinion of people, to lock them up. That's fascism.
I haven't heard this. Okay. But, I mean, I'm not saying like...
from YouTube.
I'm not saying like just because...
I'm doing it right now.
Just because this dude is a political figure and he's one of the big heads of like this thing that he's associated with. I mean, we've had this debate before. I think on our first podcast we were talking about how this was when we were just hanging out at your house and we were talking about, I think his name's John Kerry. I think that's who we were talking about. How he said some like crazy shit.
That was at the house. We weren't doing a podcast.
Yeah, I've whatever he said, it was some crazy shit. But
hang on. For science, Sam.
For science.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the environmentalist, here at the People's Climate March in 2014, September.
Gonna get pulled from
He
YouTube.
said that the climate deniers, his word, energy CEOs belong at The Hague with 3 square meals and a cot with all the other war criminals. What is your thought on that? And do you think some of the rhetoric on your side, as I'm sure both sides, but some of the rhetoric on your side gets too carried away? I mean, what's your thought on jailing skeptics as war criminals?
We'll see what happens. Was it appropriate to jail the guys from Enron?
Interesting.
Okay, right. So we'll see what happens. Was it appropriate to jail people from the cigarette industry who insisted that this addictive product was not addictive and so on? And you think about, in these cases, for me as a taxpayer and voter, the introduction of this extreme doubt, where you go with extreme doubt about climate change, is affecting my quality of life as a public citizen. So I can see where people are very concerned about this and are pursuing criminal investigations as well as engaging in discussions like this.
Okay. So he was dodgy on that. All right, so here's how I'm going to play devil's advocate, and I'm going to play devil's advocate here. The reason why I think he would, we'll say he would be okay with these people being jailed. Like, he brought up the whole point of the cigarette companies, how they lied about, cigarettes aren't really that bad for your health.
Which is fraud.
That is fraud.
Which is a criminal offense.
Which is a criminal offense.
Which is punishable by law.
Which is punishable by law. So what if that's the same thing with global warming?
To what extent?
Same extent. I mean, if you look at it, so cigarettes have an impact on your health, which, they were saying. Obviously, we know that cigarettes, we know it now. Cigarettes cause cancer. Cigarettes kill
Correct.
you.
We do. We know that now.
We know that. Global warming is the same thing. It's on a global scale. It could kill us globally. It could cause a mass extinction event if global warming is real. And
can I pause right there, really quick, just to kind of jump in? As you had said, we know now about the cigarettes, and you're right. Years and years ago, you can see it in the old advertisements. Smoke cigarettes. Doctors, 9 out of 10 doctors recommend Camel cigarettes.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It's like, sure, at the time. But that was then, this is now. We have scientific data, actual scientific data, good data that's backed up in multiple cases that we know that it can cause the carcinogens, definitely are leading contributors to cancer. Mouth cancer, tobacco in general. You got the guys that chew, lip cancer, crap in the mouth. You got the guys that smoke, lungs, everything. Hell, even cigars. To an extent, you got a lot of mouth, you got a lot of, I don't know if you guys inhale, less extent to the chest, but because there is concrete evidence over years and years of study.
Yeah.
That is what I would consider a widely accepted truth. So to his point, he's right. Is it okay to prosecute those people? Yes, because we know that. They came out and they said, hey, ignore all those studies by doctors and all these case studies and large populations of people. It is settled, and I hate to use the word settled because it gets bandied about so very frequently these days. It's settled that it is resolved that this will cause cancer. Can cause. Because you've always got your outliers. There are people out there that can smoke
till they're 105.
Till 105, and they die because they smoke till 105, and they die because they had high blood pressure from eating a lot of junk food. You know what I mean?
A lot of Twinkies.
A lot of Twinkies. They die from the Twinkies, not the cigarettes.
Nope.
Twinkies got them. So yes, if I came out and I said, that hurts you. It doesn't hurt you. There's nothing bad. All of that's junk science and blah, blah, blah. And I was promoting a product. You're right. That is a fraudulent cause. That is case for actual punishment. That is a criminal offense that you can be tried on. Now, when he's talking about global warming, we have all of this, and they're trying to stifle the data so that they can just push this narrative as that it is an accepted truth. That this is a thing, that we are directly contributing to it. And there is no other data, which we know there is. Because what we're doing is we're shutting down an entire side of the debate and saying, nope, this is the right way. Because what happened if it was the other way around? What happens if the cigarette lobby won? And all these doctors, they were able to buy the doctors out. They were able to throw their money around and say, well, in 2015, instead of 9 out of 10 doctors, those guys were wrong. They don't prefer Camel. They prefer Marlboros. Or Pall Malls, or whatever the hell people smoke, Newports. What if they started pushing those? You know what I mean?
Okay.
And we were like, well, we know, and what if there was tobacco deniers, extreme tobacco deniers, to use his word?
I'm sure there still are.
I'm sure. But those people are, they're not, it's not the same spectrum. It's not the same light as global warming.
Exactly.
And I would say that, sure, you bring back the global warming is globally. Well, so is cigarettes, tobacco in general. It's everywhere. Yeah. There is not one place in the world that you can go where there's not tobacco. Antarctica. Unless somebody brought it, which I don't think they would. Because you're not going to smoke outside when it's like negative 400.
I'm going to say there's the scale of like cigarettes versus global warming is a little bit different. Well, no. So let me get to this. So like cigarettes, for the most, you do have secondhand smoke, which we've we've proven that now.
It does have
secondhand
effect.
smoke has
Yes.
effects now.
Yes.
But for the most part, this is affecting the most. It's the people that are actually sitting there smoking it.
Okay.
So like the people that are sitting there, just like throwing down cigarette after cigarette.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the people that generally are the ones that are going to get cancer. Less so for the people that have secondhand smoke. It does still happen. That's why we have. That's why we have.
There's zones you can't smoke in.
Zones you can't smoke in.
There's no smoking sections in Texas there are, but
you
like
can't
Illinois.
smoke within like 30 feet of a door of something like that.
Tobacco-free campuses,
yeah.
blah, 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 blah.
There's this stuff now that's coming out because it affects people that aren't smoking because they're trying to live, a healthy lifestyle because we know this now.
Okay.
But when you're looking at something like global warming, because it's like companies and stuff like that, we don't have a choice in this and stuff, and it'll affect all of us on potentially a catastrophic scale. So when it actually hits the tipping point, so we'll say we do, and we have a global extinction event because of something that we have, like there's giant hurricanes. It's not going to be justice when we're having a giant hurricane or something coming through that was caused by a global warming event, and throwing the guy. It's like, well, you were a global warming denier. We're going to put you in jail now. Just sit out this hurricane that you caused. That's not justice. That's not fair. It's everyone's dying out and throwing someone in jail. It's completely different. So at some point you have to take these steps to prevent it. Like smoking, it's not going to globally extinct us, but something that could happen from global warming can. Like we can die out on a mass scale because of something like this.
Your argument, I get, and I agree with you as far as the difference being cigarette smoke is going to be local to the site, ground zero, if you will.
Yeah.
The person smoking and those in their immediate area.
Mm-hmm.
Those in the immediate area, if it happens on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Like if you're in the car, if you're in the house, blah, blah, blah. Okay, sure. Global warming being globally, the climate is all over the place, sure.
Mm-hmm.
The difference, I would, not difference, I'm sorry. So accepting that point, and I do, is that in the event that is a thing that needs to be, let me back up. It needs to be talked about. It's not if, then. It is so. Because it is a major, I guess, thing, science, whatever you want to call it. It's a major topic. That's what I was trying to land on. A major topic that we need to discuss, which is fine. And I agree with that because that is science. Science is having two sides and gathering data and coming up with a conclusion together. But what's happening is there is a global warming mob that is out there silencing the opposition. And because there is not both sides.
Though.
So I just showed you a video of Bill Nye talking about he's open to jailing people because they have a completely different view of him. And there are senators. That was a Senate quote. You hear the guy talk about it. How there was a senator at a gala or some event that he was talking about. These extreme deniers should be in the Hague, which is a world prison. With 3 meals and a cot.
But those are extreme supporters. It's not every
a senator.
Regardless, he's an extremist. He's an extremist that is in
Yes.
He's an extremist that is in power.
Right there.
So
that's the problem. He's an extremist that's in power. So when you get these major political players, and Bill Nye and people, you're able to say, well, look at Bill Nye.
You have deniers that are in power, though.
Name 3.
3?
3 big ones. 3. Let me rephrase that. Name 3 people that have as much reach. Let's say
I'm fairly certain George Bush. George Bush was one of them, I'm fairly certain. The most recent George Bush.
Okay.
I'm fairly certain. And that's the president of the United States.
Ex-president. Okay, I'll give you that. So he's
That's
maybe
a pretty big deal.
Okay, Obama. Current president.
I'm pretty sure Obama is...
He's anti. He's for. He's all about the climate change.
That's what I was figuring. I mean, he's a Democrat.
Yes.
It's going to be a lot of right-wing people.
Okay.
Off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you. I don't know a lot of government officials. But for the most part, it's going to be your right-wing people.
I'm not done yet. So let me name 3 people that you've heard of and you probably see on a daily basis. You've got Bill Nye,
Okay.
you've got Barack Obama, and then so I won't even use the senator, which would be
I
local
wouldn't
for.
say Barack's extremist in that, though.
There's different
He's not-
levels of extreme.
Yeah, there
so
is.
what you're
It's
trying
all
to do?
it's all subjective, though, Rob.
Okay, but I'm understanding, but I'm not saying that they're extremists. I'm talking about people who are so for it that anytime you say, but what about, they shut you down. Because if you've ever heard Obama talk about it, he talks about those who bury their heads in the sand and those who are anti-science. Those are his words, anti-science. And what he's doing is he is casting this doubt on this group of people who are trying to gather data and form an informed decision in order to put forth what they think is truth. So I'm not even talking about extremists. I'm talking about people in places of power. And I can name any number of celebrities who tweet about it. I'm sure Kim Kardashian I've seen. I'm sure, any one of Hollywood. Oh, Leonardo DiCaprio, Matt Damon.
I'm a big Leo fan.
Yeah, well, decent actor. And, all these people that you can talk about, like, I just told you to name 3. I named 4, 5 different people, just off the top of my head, who were...
You're also a little bit more in the know than I am. And you're also picking at... For the most part, people that are for, like, saying that global warming is a thing, that's the majority of people. You're making me give numbers off of a minority.
Which is the point. So if I asked you point blank, do you believe or not? I'm not gonna go too deep into it, but just to say from an outside, so you believe. Why?
We do have evidence. I mean, I've recently looked it up, and both sides have evidence for and against, and some of them are shit, some of them are good.
Mm-hmm.
Like the big thing is the ice caps have been coming back over the last 20 years, I think. The ice caps are actually getting bigger.
I don't know if it's 20 years, but they have been growing at an extreme rate.
It's like, well, I wouldn't say extreme. It's like 17 to 35%.
Tons. You're talking about like millions of tons.
Well, when you're looking
NASA.
at the size of it, yeah, but like in terms of like a percentage, I wouldn't call that extreme.
There was a growth between 2000 and it's either 12 and 13 or 13 and 14. I cannot remember what the year was, but it was some ungodly percent, like 40 to 50% growth of ice. Like Russians were trying to take yachts across the Arctic to prove that global warming was a thing, and they kept getting stuck. And we had to send out ice barges because these idiots were like, global warming, it's melting all the ice caps, polar bears, they're gonna die off, blah 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 blah. And we had to go bust them out of the ice because they kept getting stuck because the ice was growing.
And polar bears wouldn't die off; they just migrate south.
That's true.
Yeah,
100%.
Because they're animals.
They were breeding with other grizzly bears.
Yeah, that was a big thing. So,
okay.
Along with
like
what Blake's point is,
Cool,
so
thanks.
there is stuff happening, and we do have science, saying we are in the longest warming period in Earth's history. We're in the longest period. A side effect of if there is global warming, we already know that there is a lot of CO2 in the atmosphere, and you can see this as evidence because plant growth and
it's just exploding.
It's exploding.
Yeah, the Amazon forest.
The Amazon rainforest is bigger than it's ever been.
So deforestation is no longer an issue.
Yeah, which is something interesting. It's a byproduct of this. I'm not saying it's bad or which way. The Earth has ways of balancing it out.
Yes, it does.
But saying that, I don't know. The way I look at it is, if we are wrong that global warming is not a thing, what's the worst thing that happens? We have better recycling, alternative fuel sources, which is definitely something we need to look into. We can't keep burning coal and fossil fuels. Exactly. We're going to run out.
Way of propulsion than combustion.
Internal combustion. It's the most reliable, cheap. You know what it is? It's cheapest, and you can talk about who killed the electric car.
It's the easiest method as well as combustion. Just blowing something.
Oil companies actually killed the electric car because they have money, and the Middle East essentially just shut down through coercion. And
they own the world technically.
Yes, they do. That's why Dubai is such a large place. And if you look at it from 1970 to today, it's 100% different landscape. They have man-made freaking islands out there, and that's why they call it billionaires.
They have the tallest building in the world.
They do. They have multiple tall buildings, tallest buildings in the world. But I agree with you, and what's interesting is that if you were to ask me, is there climate change? I would say yes.
Okay.
But the problem,
yes, it just happens.
The problem is we've hijacked a term, and this is what we do these days: is we latch on to a word and we throw it around so much that, in essence, you change the meaning of it entirely.
Yes.
Yeah, there's some interesting science behind that itself.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at people who are way more intelligent doing podcasts. Joe Rogan talks about it. How what is phobia? A phobia is a fear of something.
Irrational fear.
It's an irrational fear. It's like there's no reason that you can't be fearful of something. It's just
You could be fearful of anything, really.
you could totally be fearful of it. Like Islamophobia, this phobia, homophobia, that. It's like people throw it around, and then bigotry. Bigotry or bigot has been one of the stupidest labels that's out there. Because any time that anyone comes out and says something against a group of people, and I'm not going to say Donald Trump because there are things he said in the past where it's just kind of like...
I'm not going to say Donald Trump,
yeah.
but by me saying that name...
As an example, I should have been more clear. Is what I meant is that, he's not a good example of somebody labeling someone a bigot and then having to walk it back because it's not. As you look at people, Twitter, how many times have you ever, or you don't have a Twitter, but how many times have you looked at, say, a YouTube video, Facebook post, and you look at the comment section, and then and then you just have where people just go off, and because somebody famous said something, they accept it as gospel truth. And that's my point in a roundabout manner. You look at the election in 2012, and they did a study of when different political ads were run, and you would have Obama ads running during Jersey Shore. I can't remember what, not 12, was it 08? One of the years. You would have them running during like Jersey Shore, Real Housewives, stupid shows like that. And then you would have Romney ads being run during Andy Griffith. Who the fun watches Andy Griffith? Old people, right?
The people that are going to vote for
The people that are going to
Romney.
vote for him anyway.
Yeah,
so
people
why
that
is
are
he
actually
running
gonna vote.
ads during Andy Griffith shows? And why are they running Obama? Wouldn't you think that the data would be different? Like you're trying to convince the other side? It's like that's just easy pickings. So that's what I'm saying is we get this mob mentality, and that's more of what it is. You get groups of people who
Power
are like-minded.
numbers.
Sure. And then you have somebody in a position of power say something, and people are just like, yes, that is a thing, because he said so. And when you start presenting evidence to the contrary, they completely start labeling you and trying to close your argument out of the sphere of communication into the public discourse. They're like, no, we don't need this. You're just some dirty, filthy, disgusting climate denier. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
And that's the problem.
I go back to the point.
That's whatever.
You can't just keep using that as a crutch, though. There's problems on both sides. You say that, but you
it's
can't
true.
really point to it because it doesn't exist.
The way that I look at it is, what's the worst thing that happens if we do back that there is climate change? We get a better planet. What's like the worst thing? I mean, you're dedicating some money to it, but it's like if it betters our planet and it betters our future,
Okay.
what's bad about that? Like
So-
I don't see any bad side effects to it.
To an extent, I agree with you. There's a difference between having draconian measures and coercion versus like letting the market sort itself out. And what I mean by that is capitalism is one of the greatest systems of anything ever, because you will have people that, because of the industry they are in, have to adapt. They have to innovate, because if they don't innovate,
Can't you say that this is just a product of capitalism then?
that's what I'm saying. Is that's why capitalism is the bomb diggity, is because they have things that cause it to become so. That's the second time they've called. I should probably look into that. Hello, thank you. Ignore. That because of the reason that they have innovation is capitalism. And when we talk about, what's the difference? How much better could it be? Do you know if we implemented every single thing on the laundry list of, say, Greenpeace and EPA and whatnot, do you know what kind of change we would have on it? There's been studies done.
Surprised we haven't.
It's 1/10 of 1 degree Celsius.
I mean, it's the same.
But see where the rub comes in? You're talking about millions and trillions of dollars to implement all these changes, effectively bankrupting and putting out of business all of these companies. How big is oil? How big is gas? How big is coal? And I understand it's like down with the 1%. Yeah, sure, those bastards. But what about the thousands of people you're going to put out of work? Now, look, I understand we can do this all day. As you're talking about, well, you would have a rise in different companies. Solyndra, $500 million from.
That's going to be the other thing, and eventually, like as your point was saying earlier, you are going to run out of those fossil fuels eventually. Those jobs are going to go away, even if we don't innovate into something else. those jobs will disappear eventually just because we can't use those resources anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna happen. So I just say, why not? Like, I know you're gonna be spending a ton of money.
Yes.
But it's going to end up bettering everything in the long run. And even if you take the global warming thing out of the equation.
So let's take it out of the equation.
Let's take it out of the equation. Okay. It's just going to better us in the long run.
And I agree with you. So why can't you? So you're an innovator. You know, your whole perspective on it is an innovation. It will go away. So we should look into it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Why do we have to have this mafia coerce people into doing it before their time? And this kind of goes back to the whole GMO labeling we did.
Capitalism thing, because it's effective and it's getting the most people to work into it.
No. You're taking capitalism. You're putting a fascist face.
No, because it's true. Because this
it's fascism because it's true.
No. Okay. So we're going with your point. You have to do things and you have to innovate things in order to get people, to go for this product.
Sure.
So if we look at this whole global warming thing as a product,
okay,
we're finding something that people are really excited about. There's a big thing. I mean, even between us right now.
Certainly.
Big thing.
I agree.
Draws a lot of attention. It's a hot button topic.
100%.
Very evident. They're getting a lot of attention around it. They've created a product that a lot of people are getting behind, and it's a big thing that people are standing for. They're like, I'm good for the environment. I'm pro-environment. I'm good for the long run.
Yeah.
Even though it's subjective, a thing of coercion, it's capitalistic because they've found a product that's working, that's getting people onto their side, that's getting them to get backed.
Mm-hmm. So if that were true, you would be right, but it's not. You are what you're not taking into the equation is the part where the government is regulating and forcing people to make these changes. Cafe standards. You're talking about the changes to GM, making them, not just GM, but motors in general, is that there's what they call a cafe standard of that you have to have a car meet X amount of miles per gallon. You are forcing these people into something. That's not capitalism. That's a government-controlled spur change. Now, is it good? Is it bad? In some cases, sure, it could be good, but where do you draw the line? When you have a group of people who are, and they're taking a lot of this on just words from junk science. We have the force to put these regulations out. Do you know how many regulations are released in like a year? There's thousands. Just so many that you can't even read on a daily basis. And it's like, how do we have the release of all these regulations, and how do you keep up, and how do you manage? So in your mind, and I would agree with you, is that, look, supply and demand. If you have a supply of coal, or let's use oil. So you have a supply of oil, and eventually it will run out. If you're a manufacturer of an auto company or something, you're probably going to diversify, right? Mm-hmm. You're just going to do that by yourself. Mm-hmm. But what's your plan? Say you have a thing where you're just going to start R&D on ethanol, or which is stupid, isn't viable. What was it? Not nitrogen. What was the one they tried a few years back? Not natural gas. Hydrogen.
Okay.
I think it was the hydrogen car. They were doing the hydrogen fuel cells. That's what it was. So you're going to look into different technologies, right? You're going to do R&D. You're going to spread this out over years of time and data and collection, right? And say you've got a 20-year plan. Say if you start it in 2010, and we are going to release our first alternative energy vehicle by 2030.
Okay.
So 20 years down the road. In a perfect world, to your point, people would be doing that. And to an extent they are, because they know it's going to happen anyway, because the government's going to come along and tell them, look, no, you don't have 20 years, you've got 10.
Okay.
You have exactly half the time. And they come back and they're like, look, that's not realistic. We can't, that's not a goal that you can actually get to. That's where the problem comes in, and you have the same mentality coming back by it, where it's like, we don't care what you say, we don't care what data you show, we have it from our 3 guys that say it's going to happen, that you must have it done. And that's why it's so important on the debate, is it's that if all of these changes were to occur, which they're going to eventually, because like you said, that's capitalism, it's going to happen. We are eventually going to run out. We are eventually going to move from fossil fuels and coal-driven power plants and oil-driven cars, internal combustion engines. We're going to be, flying around on, freaking land speeders using, hell man, I don't know, uranium, whatever.
Yeah, because that's unlimited.
I've been playing too much of that No Man's Sky,
Yeah,
bro.
man, too much noise. The plutonium. We're just gonna have just spikes of this shit coming out the ground, man. Gotta mine that all day. Anyway,
If only.
we're just gonna bust down the trees to carbon. We can power our cars. with
Yeah,
carbon.
that'll happen.
Yeah.
Alchemy's real.
So anyway, alchemy is actually turning into gold. So anyway, getting back to that. So it's going to happen over time. But the problem comes in, and I guess what it is just big government versus small government. And that's the mentality that you will find on any side of the debate is pro, in this case, global warming. It's big government. We want them to step in and say, nope, you cannot do that. You must do it by this. We don't care if it's not possible. If you can't do it, you're just going to fold. And that's your problem, not ours. And then you have those on the other side that are like, wait. This data isn't great. And we need more time to gather more data and figure out and run more. Do you know how many of those sites actually have things that mess with the variables? Is that the thermometer, if there's like this blacktop, one of them I was reading in, I think it's California, where there's a blacktop area around the building that reflects the heat back into the sensors. So a lot of that data they took, and even the stuff on the ships, when they were doing the data from, there's still carbon dating and things they can do in the Arctic, which is great, because that's actual, like, untouched by man. You take a drill, you just get yourself a core, yank that puppy out, and that son of a gun's going to be pretty darn clear because
Pristine, yeah.
It's the Arctic. It's uninhabitable.
But when you go 400 years down in the ice.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that we need more time and more data. We cannot just come out and say, this is like the level of, Galileo and saying, we accept this as truth. Well, why? We haven't proven it through conclusive evidence yet. Which is why he got excommunicated from the church, because he was promoting his theory. He was right. In the end, we know he's right.
He caught a lot of flack for that.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, is they said, okay, but don't preach it as truth. And he did. At the time. Which is very close-minded. Sure, fine, whatever. But
Very close-minded time.
yeah, well, it was. And what I'm saying is that
science
we are in a time of closed-mindedness ourselves. We live in a time where it's like, I fucking love science. But look
We're
at
starting
this.
to go back to it now.
Closing ourselves in the box.
Yeah, and it's just like, well, look, if you mix these colors together, it's a totally another color. Man, isn't that cool? It's like, yes, but that's not science. It's like, you know how many times I've looked at that page and there's crap on there. It's just like, this isn't even scientific. I don't get why they were posting this. But that's the same kind of mentality. Is it's like, leave the science to the scientists. Actually allow them to study, and when they provide things, they get shut down. Exxon being the biggest case, the most visible case that I can come up with, is they now are providing research to the contrary, and you have an entire state of district attorneys trying to shut them down.
It's big business, man. You get in some
Money's
dark
power.
areas.
Money buys
But
science.
that's not really
in a meeting. Money can buy science.
money buys anything.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Because if
You give a scientist enough money, they'll study to whatever you want them to study.
Well, they study stupid stuff so they can
Yeah.
get the money. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's funding.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is you have all these studies.
Can't be a scientist without money.
That's true, because science is expensive. It absolutely is, and I'm not saying that we shouldn't fund it. We totally should. But the difference being is that if you have a population that's plugged into the TV, and their life revolves around A-list celebrities and memes on Facebook,
Hey.
you can have the greater number of people.
Harambe.
Right? Yeah. Now, if they came out and said Harambe thought global warming was real, I'd be all in, man.
Oh, dude, if
Harambe died because global warming. We need to fix our shit.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. But yeah, so that's the thing, is it's like, that area doesn't exist because we are conditioned to accept truth based on those who preach it. And those who preach it are people in power and high up that everyone knows.
That's like with the sheeple movement, yeah?
Yep.
100%. Now, I hate saying that because, again, that's been bandied about too. It's like, wake up, America! It's like, come on.
Well, it's not even
man.
really America. It's just like, in general, a society follows a certain ruling, and no matter what, uneducated or educated, people will follow something to an extent.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of hard to go against that.
And that's the problem, is that,
it's a major
we
problem.
have Facebook groups where we proclaim our love of science, and anytime we're just confronted with a viewpoint other than our own,
Yeah, that's the bad
we
thing
shut
about
down
social networking.
and we try
is that
to silence them.
We've connected the entire world, but we've also connected it for a positive and a negative way.
Yeah. Well, I would say that, you know, people in general are just very delicate to what they think. And
Well,
it's
everybody
like-
thinks they're a little flower.
Yes. Yeah. Then the whole college movement and
They see themselves as a flower, not in like the whole bouquet of flowers.
yeah, bigger picture. Got to be a bigger picture person.
All right, guys. I think we should get around wrapping it up. Do a food review. You want to throw a few Mad Libs in there as well?
I'd be about that.
I think we could throw in a few Mad Libs.
Let me move my phone out the way so I can get you a book.
So I guess let's get the food cooking.
We're gonna do the adult mammoth Mad Libs, right? 'Cause
Of course.
Screw this.
Oh, those-
Star Wars Mad Libs.
Those ones are good.
I'm gonna say these ones are actually
man.
not bad.
Now, if Mary
These-
was here,
both of these are
she'd
good.
be all in, man.
We could bring that over tonight if you want.
Oh yeah, just get
There's
some bevs up
some
in there.
funny ones, yeah.
Oh, she said
We'll
stupidly.
we'll do that. There's some pretty good ones. In there.
Oh yeah, you watch
Alright,
some
guys.
of our older ones.
So we'll be right back. We're gonna cook some food. We'll come back with a food review and some Mad Libs.
Mad Libs to lighten the mood up a little
Yeah.
bit.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back, and we are doing
Damn, you
the
were so close to 153 on the nose.
almost. We're doing a food review. These are like Totino's nacho bites.
Stuffed nachos.
They're very similar to
Look
the
like pizza
Dorito
rolls.
ones. Yeah, they're like pizza rolls, triangle, just like the Doritos, and they're filled with nacho cheese and meat. I think it's like a pepperoni. So we got a little ranch for Blake and I. Rob's just going.
I'm
plain.
going unadulterated.
They do have peppers inside of it as well, so if
Peppers
you're not
as
a
well.
fan of peppers, they're
Ah,
probably
yeah,
not the
yeah.
best treat of yours.
I can handle a little bit of pepper.
I can handle peppers now. I don't know what happened.
Oh wow.
It's really good. The pepper really doesn't add too much spice to it, so it's really not that hot. If you don't like hot things, it's not hot at all.
Mm-mm.
It has a good flavor.
It's
I'd compare it to like Rotel,
it tastes like a loaded nacho, like a really super loaded nacho.
which is pretty much what
you
they're
go,
going
you go
for.
out and you get a nacho bowl from a Mexican restaurant. It's gonna taste like a Tostitos nacho pocket, whatever they call
Or
it.
essentially any restaurant in Texas.
Yeah, Tex-Mex. It's the real thing.
I bet this is really good with ranch.
I think it's cilantro in there too. A little green. That might be some more.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Oh, dude. That's pretty good with ranch.
So is everything else that exists.
Freaking ranch savages.
That's a Midwestern thing, isn't it?
I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if it were a Midwest thing, but I don't subscribe to it. I don't like ranch.
Really?
Sorry, you like French dressing?
More of an Italian.
Italian's
Atta
good.
boy.
Yeah,
I can't stand French. It's disgusting.
yeah. The color's weird. I can't
It
get
tastes
over the
like
color.
it's just
Chalk,
it's
almost.
bad.
It always just gives like a chalky feeling on my tongue. Not great. I like vinaigrettes. Italian dressing's not bad. I like the OP of dressings. I think would be like not the pomegranate. Wendy's always used to have like strawberry field salad. And I think it was. Oh, thank you.
They just the blueberry one, right? The new
No,
one.
no, no. It was. They used to do strawberry fields, and then they kind of revolve around other things too. But like if you just go in and get like the all year round, they have like an apple something salad, and I think it comes with a vinaigrette. I think it's a pomegranate vinaigrette. If I'm not wrong. That's a good one though. I'll tell you.
Pomegranate as a fruit is good.
I like pomegranate
We are
flavoring.
comparing this to the Doritos nachos bites
Which
we
I
had
wasn't
as
here.
well, right?
If you want, we can compare it, but I'm going to do a standalone first, and then we can kind of compare it to the Doritos ones
Okay.
if you want as
Yeah,
well.
I mean, they're essentially the same snack, just different brands.
Yeah. They don't have like the kind of Dorito cheesiness in the shell.
Mm-mm.
It's
It's essentially a pizza roll with cheese, like a nacho instead of pizza.
I
yeah,
agree with that. Looks like you got like
And
cheddar.
it's triangle, as in like a nacho.
yeah.
It's like a blend of like cheddar and nacho cheese. Is what it looks
Mhm.
like.
I liked it. I ate all three of mine with and without ranch. I thought it was pretty good. I did think that the Dorito one was better. This one, I would give it like an 8, and then ranch, I felt like it was just as good. I would say it's 8.
I'm
as
assuming
well.
it's like a 10-point scale.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're doing it out of 10. You can do it out of
It's
50.
a scale out of 9.
Almost full marks.
You can do whatever you want. I'm doing it out of 10. I'm going to say for with and without ranch, I'm going to give it an 8 for both of them. Very, very good. I think it's a good snack. It left a little desired, especially when I compare it to the Dorito one.
What was the price? Price versus per unit?
They're about the same. I think they're like $5 a box. I think you get a few more out of the Tostitos one.
Mm-hmm. This is because they're smaller.
Yeah, they're smaller. That's another thing. The Tostito one, there was a. If you've had the pizza rolls, there's like that air gap in there.
Yes.
The Dorito one didn't really have that. Dorito one was pretty well packed throughout the entire thing. This one, that was the big issue I had with this. Is it was just kind of.
I would say they're a little bit more generous in the filling than they do their pizza rolls.
Yeah.
Because Totino's is the pizza roll brand.
Yep.
And I would say there was more filling in these versus the pizza rolls.
I would agree with that.
And if you were to take that shape and just make it into a triangle, it'd be about the same size.
Yeah.
Just cut one of the corners off and make it a...
So you gave it an 8 out of 10?
Yep. On both.
I'll give it a
Ranch
7 out of 10.
7?
Yeah, it's...
I have to fall in with Blake. I was either going to go 7 or 7.5. 7.25.
It's good. I feel like it's really light. Like,
Yeah.
the other, the Doritos version, you could actually eat that as like a meal. And you could feel full afterwards.
Yeah, we only had...
You'd have to eat like 45 of these things.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with that.
I don't have anything to compare it to. This being my first food review.
Yeah.
I would say, I have to agree with Blake on that. It was like 7. I don't really have a point of
I
reference.
mean, it's not bad at all. It's a good snack. It's got good taste. The cheese is good. The breading is good and crispy when you toast it up good. It's a good warm snack. But compared to the Doritos, it doesn't stand a chance.
All right.
So I think that was pretty good. Say like it was like a 7.4 for an average out of us. Pretty good stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna end this off with some Mad Libs. We're gonna do 2 Mad Libs for you guys, and we're doing this out of the Adult Mad Libs, world's greatest word game.
Sam, please. It's the Mammoth Adult Mad Libs by PSSI.
Adult.
Yeah, Mammoth Mad Libs.
Isn't that what I said?
No, you said Adult Mad
You
Libs.
skipped the mammoth.
Did I really?
Jeeves.
I'll review the footage. God damn it! I'll review it.
You don't have to. I'm telling you it is. See, that must be why you don't like books.
Flashback.
He can't read. Get it.
How good are you on your English, Robert?
Let's go.
Phenomenal.
Let's
You
go.
think you are?
Shut up.
Yes.
All right.
I can't say it sometimes.
First one.
I Ryan Haywood it all day.
Person in room.
Rob.
Yeah.
All right, Rob.
Man, I've always wanted to be in a porn movie before.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Just name of a person, male.
Oh man, gotta go with my boy Vin Diesel.
Vin
Diesel. Now you gotta be specific. Oh man, or Dwayne Johnson. Ooh.
It's Vin Diesel. It's too
Vin
late.
Diesel.
We're just gonna be
Locked
Vin
in.
Diesel. It's carved in stone, mate.
Adjective.
Carbon stone, get it? Because the Brock.
My God.
I'm sorry, adjective?
Yeah.
Smelly.
That's a good one.
Another adjective.
Handsome.
Ooh.
Okay. If there's another adjective, I've got
Type of sport. This could be a little tough for
Dude,
Robert.
wait. We gotta come up with like the
Golf.
craziest. Triggered. No. We gotta come up with like some like crazy
paintball.
Water polo.
I'm good. Water polo. Let's do that
If you're not informed, Rob doesn't believe golf is a sport.
because it's not.
Occupation.
Porn star.
All right. Another occupation.
Accountant.
No, plumber.
Ooh.
Plumber.
Oh. The porn star plumber combo.
Yeah, boy.
This is a porno right out.
Celebrity female.
Well then.
Jennifer Aniston.
No. Kate Beckinsale.
I like Jennifer Aniston.
Kate Beckinsale.
2-1, Rob.
Gosh dang it, dude. Although she's pretty nice.
She pretty nice.
Public event.
Bukkake.
Oh no!
No, dude.
This will be a good one. Verb.
I'm still recovering, man.
Suck.
Oh, gee.
Type of building.
Firehouse.
Type of event.
Wet t-shirt contest.
Nice. A place.
Glory hole.
That's not a place.
It
That's
is a
thing.
place.
Do you reside in a glory hole? A glory hole is in a bathroom.
I say a sauna.
You
Let's do a
can
sauna.
Sauna.
You can reside in a glory hole.
That's a little cheating though, because you see what the Mad Lib is. But we'll go
No,
with sauna.
no. He can say things.
Type of plant. Ficus.
What, nigga?
A ficus.
A ficus.
I'm gonna have to edit that out.
Don't.
People don't know your ethnicity. You dirty Polak.
Blake is black. They call me Black Blake.
Verb.
A verb.
Verb.
Lick.
He's too good at these, man.
Number.
12.
You were gonna go with the 69.
Adjective.
I heard
Oh!
I heard it.
Can we
coming
change
out
that?
your
No.
Can we do that
It's
69?
locked in.
How about 420?
Adjective.
Do it for
mouth. That would
Harambe.
have been a good one too.
Adjective.
Wrinkly.
Ooh.
Yeah. Gosh. It's disgusting.
Color.
Gray.
Really? You of all people.
Part of the body.
Well, I mean,
Forehead.
I was gonna go with the weenus.
The weenus.
The weenus.
That is a popular choice amongst our group.
Weenus.
Weenus.
Winnie's is good.
Yeah. It's that little flap of skin on your elbow.
Verb. Spin.
Used to be a website Blake went into all the time.
Something with meat or something like that.
I don't know, man.
All right. So this Mad Lib is titled "The Blind Date."
Dude, I'm all in. Let's do it.
Rob has fixed you up with Vin Diesel. It's your very first blind date, and frankly, you're smelly.
Oh, that's
Oh no.
You haven't seen a picture of him,
Hopefully
but he's
upstairs,
been
not
described as a handsome.
Ooh.
Excuse me. He's been described as handsome and is on a water polo team.
Hey, that's pretty good.
I'd be in, man.
After a stint as a porn star,
Nice.
he settled into his current job as a plumber.
On the job
Once you clean the
practice,
pipe,
dude, yeah.
once you clean the pipes, you never forget how to.
I was gonna say, I was like, he knows how to lay pipe, bro.
All right. He's worked with Jennifer Aniston on a charity bukkake event.
Oh no!
And
Jennifer Aniston, what are you doing?
And apparently sucked with her at her country firehouse.
Oh no!
Wow.
What?
You're hoping it works out so you can hang with her at the next wet t-shirt contest.
This is good.
He shows up at her sauna with a large ficus in hand. Unfortunately, it's
It's a
not
weird
large
party
enough
gift.
to lick him.
Oh,
He
no.
weighs 12 pounds, has a wrinkly tooth, and a gray blemish on the end of his weenus.
Oh.
Oh
A
well.
wrinkly tooth.
Yeah.
I'm kind of disgusted.
Good job, Blake.
Oh well, you can always close your eyes when you spin with him later. That's why you are called, or that's why they are called blind dates. Not a bad one.
That's
there.
pretty good.
That's pretty decent. Pretty decent.
All right.
Dude, Vin Diesel on a water polo team? Oh, yeah.
All in.
And he was an ex-porn star. So.
Yeah.
Laid some
I'm trying to think of a...
Not too far from what his actual career is, probably.
It's true. Triple X, man.
Okay. All right, another one. Plural noun.
Plural noun?
Yeah.
Holes.
Oh, noun.
Holes.
Okay. Kept thinking verbs.
Plural noun.
Got a cheat sheet.
What? Oh my gosh, dude.
Plural noun.
Plural noun. So we got holes already.
It's not hard.
It's dull. It. You're
Jesus Christ.
gonna be that guy? Go with shafts.
Holes and shafts. That's good.
Holes and shafts, bruh.
Type of liquid.
Mercury.
Ooh.
That'll kill you. 10 milligrams. You're done.
Type of container.
Genie lamp.
I'd say baster.
That's a good one.
Genie lamp, pretty good.
Verb.
Based.
Based.
Yeah.
Noun.
Robin Williams.
That's a proper noun. Do you think it'll matter? That's a proper name, actually, which is...
Yeah, I wouldn't use that one.
We should, plumber would be a noun, but we're not going to use plumber. We did that. You want to go like fireman?
Fireman? Okay.
Fireman.
Article of clothing, plural.
Bow tie. Bow ties.
Yeah.
I mean, you could just say one and then make it...
Links, bro. That would have been classy.
Foreign
AF.
country.
Djibouti.
Turkey.
Djibouti.
That's DJ.
I know how to spell Djibouti.
A booty.
Plural noun.
Plural noun. What you think, Blake?
Lynching.
What?
That's not a noun.
That's a verb, bro.
Oh, it's a person, place, or thing. A thing is a lynching.
That's not plural either.
No. It's a. Oh, okay.
Lynchings?
I'm not. It's a verb. Lynching.
Candles.
Candles.
Occupation.
Candlesticks. Pro wrestler.
Plural noun.
We are awful at these plural noun things.
It's not hard.
Should we
Then
bring in
fucking make one!
candlesticks? We got candles. Gotta have candlesticks, bruh. Especially with our holes in shafts, if you know what I mean.
Plural noun.
Shit, man. Elevators.
That's a good one. Celebrity male.
Well, we gotta go Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Gotta show some love.
Adjective.
Buff?
Ooh.
Yeah. Or bald.
Verb.
Stud. A verb?
Yeah.
Shoots. Like hoops.
Shoot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or like heroin.
So this one is the sophisticate. He prefers reading holes to playing shafts.
That's pretty good.
He'd rather drink mercury than anything else,
Oh, God.
and only out of a genie lamp.
That's some pretty hardcore
He
shit.
loves the touch of silk and will baste at the sight of a well-made fireman. He is extremely particular about folding his bow ties in something resembling origami.
That's
Hey,
pretty
that
good.
works.
That's
He
nice.
speaks the native tongue of Djibouti, all the better to procure a rare candle.
Dos Equis.
He tried his hand
Right.
at being a pro wrestler, but decided it was beneath him. Instead, he spends his day in pursuit of candlesticks and elevators. Of course, he's as poor as Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson,
Damn.
but in his buff days. If only he had the means to shoot in the style to which he's become accustomed. And that was the sophisticate.
The sophisticate indeed.
And he drinks Dos Equis.
I was gonna
And
say it does
apparently
sound like-
mercury out of a genie lamp.
Yeah,
That's
mercury
pretty
out of a genie
swag.
That's some
Dude's
next
like,
level
what?
shit.
Poisonous?
So that was it, guys. We did our 5th podcast. Flew by. I'd like to thank you guys for coming in, checking us out. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back next time, maybe weekly or annually. We don't know.
It'll come out eventually.
It'll come out eventually.
Don't pressure us.
Don't pressure us.
I mean, you've been releasing them pretty often.
Pretty frequently.
I was gonna say
We're on number 5. It's making
That's pretty good.
Not bad. All right. Say goodbye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.